Hi, Carly for ProAV TV. So I'm on a very sunny Brighton beach with the Panasonic EVA-1, or EVA as I like to call her. This is probably the most anticipated camera release of this whole year. I mean, I won't spend too long running through the specs because we all already know them. It's 4K 10-bit, it's a super 35mm camera. It's nice and small and light, so you get 4K 50p in 8-bit or 25p in 10-bit. We all know the specs. The point of this video really is to see what's the camera like to use. Although this is a engineering sample, they're calling it. It's pre-production camera. This is not the finished camera, not the finished sensor design. It's all going to be tweaked before the camera's actually ready to ship. But what we can get a sense for is what it's like to actually shoot with, what it's like to use. Right, I'm just going to interrupt myself there for a small disclaimer. This video was made with the aim of showing you all some footage from the EVA-1. Nothing fancy, some shots of Jonah walking along the Brighton beach, the pier at night, that kind of thing. However, since we filmed this, Panasonic have issued a worldwide hold on any footage being released from these engineering samples. They have made the decision back at HQ to wait until the sensor is completely finished before showing you all some more footage from the camera. Now this is very frustrating, both for you and for me. I was very happy with the footage from this shoot. It was very sharp, very clean at both ISOs, no sign of the noise that disappointed me in their launch films. But unfortunately, I just can't show you all it. We decided though that this video was still worth releasing even without any footage, as it shows a bit what the camera is like to actually use out there in the field, and hopefully answers a few questions for those of you who haven't had the chance to see one for yourself in the flesh yet. So, apologies for the lack of footage. I know it's frustrating, but now we've explained why, let's get back to the video. Right, so we've taken shelter underneath the pier because it's just about starting to rain everywhere. And we don't want to get this too wet after all, because this is probably one of the only couple in the UK at the moment. So, a couple of things which I really like after using this for the couple of hours is mainly the size. I mean, the size is fantastic. It's a really small, light, run and gun camera. It feels like nothing when it's on top of a tripod, and it's really easy to just hold in one hand like this. It's not much bigger than an FS5 for comparison, maybe a C100, that sort of size. It's not as large as the C200 or the FS7 cameras like that. It's really nice, especially if you strip it down and have a small lens on the front. I've got here a 50mm f1.2 from Canon, which is not a big lens, and the little tiny small HD focus, which is a really nice small monitor to have on top of it. And then I'm using the actual built-in LCD as a touchscreen menu control for the back. And about the menus, there's a home button, which just quickly toggles on and off a sort of VariCam style inspired menu on the LCD screen. You get easy access to all of your most commonly used features. So you get frame rates, you get your color, your gammas, you get your shutter speed, your exposure, your ISO, your audio and your white balance, and also all the audio levels, all that sort of stuff. Really quick and easy to toggle instantly on and off with a button on the side and control with the touch screen. The most commonly seen question which I've seen online is how do you change the dual native ISOs? Because it has dual native ISOs of 800 and 2500. And on the VariCam, when it had dual native ISOs, in order to swap between them, you had to power cycle the camera. So you'd have to shut it down, reboot it back up. It would take maybe about a minute of your shoot time. On this, it is instant. If you have this switch down here down to ISO, this wheel here just very quickly switches instantly between 800 and 2500. It really could not be any quicker. So that is really, really nice. The other thing I like is the ND filters. We're used to ND filters on cameras like this, but if you're used to, say, the GH5 and smaller cameras stepping up to this, having built-in ND filters right there on the side of the body is going to be an absolute lifesaver for you guys. It's going to make such a difference to the way you shoot. That being said, today was a very bright sunny day. You wouldn't believe it by looking around at the moment, but earlier on, about 4 hours ago, it was really bright, glorious sunshine. And we had all the levels of ND on, and we were still having to stop down to maybe f8, f5.6 in order to get exposure. So it's not quite enough to shoot wide open on lenses outside in the direct sunlight, which is a shame. But you still get quite a lot of ND. It wasn't any more ND that I was getting on my Canon C200, cameras like that. So I think they can be forgiven, but it just would have been nice to have just that extra stop again. You do get image stabilization in the body. Now this is post-image stabilization. So what that means, it's electronic. It crops in to the 5.7K sensor to take a 4K readout of the middle. And then the same as warp stabilizer and image stabilization in software works, where it jiggles the shot around to keep it steady, it does the same thing, but in camera, instantly. Now, I've still got to do a couple of tests on that to see how well that works, but if that works really well, that could be absolutely fantastic, giving you much needed stabilization for if you're shooting handheld with lenses without image stabilization in, or vintage lenses, or cinema primes, that sort of thing. That could be really, really nice. Right, so there is something we need to explain, because this is an engineering sample, not the finished camera. What that means is that they are still making changes to the sensor, the build quality, everything pretty much about the camera is going to be changing, including the image quality, but of course it's only going to get better than it currently is, and to be honest, what I'm seeing right now is fantastic. We've only shot at 800 ISO so far, but the images that I've seen come back have got fantastic dynamic range, no noise in them whatsoever, really nice colors, both in scene files and in log footage. I've been really quite impressed. Okay, so the sun's gone down and we've come down to Brighton Pier with all the lights are on to try and get some low light stuff with the camera. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to show you guys the low light, which I know is going to be disappointing, but the camera just isn't ready yet. This is going to be the main area that they're going to be tweaking, and they will be improving this, so there's just no point in showing you guys it yet. But from what I've been seeing, it's looking like this is going to really compete with the Sony cameras and the Canon cameras in the low light area, particularly if you're used to shooting with, say, the GH5 and those smaller sensor cameras. The larger sensor here is going to be making a world of difference. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching that. Let me know in the comment section below what you want to see more of on this camera. I mean, hopefully very soon we'll get our own demo unit of this, so I'll be able to really put it through its paces. So let me know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see low light? Do you want to see comparisons to other cameras? All of that. Just let me know and I'll see what I can do. So, of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because it really does help us out, and I'll see you in the next one.